All right, veterans, I have a very special episode. Today we're going to be going over questions from Luis Elizondo. What am I talking about? Well, at the hearing at the House on the 13th of 2024, there were 4 people that testified: Mike Gold, Michael Schellenberger, Tim Gallaudet, and Luis Elizondo. They were all asked to give follow-up answers to questions that they received after the hearing. Well, those have finally been released. So, again, I've got 11 questions that was sent to Luis Elizondo, and he responded. So let's go over it. Now, I'm going to be making videos for all of the people, so look out for those people. Again, Michael Schellenberger, Mike Gold, Tim Gallaudet, and Luis Elizondo. This video is about Luis Elizondo. Let's jump in. I got it ready. So again, he was asked to provide answers to some questions. There's 11 questions. Let's just jump into them. All right, let's just jump into the questions here. Question number 1. Does any branch of the United States government or defense contractors, aerospace and otherwise, possess technology derived from a non-human source? Response: yes. I served as a senior ranking person of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP, within the Department of Defense, DoD. ATIP investigated unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. ATIP engaged senior executives at DoD defense aerospace companies who claimed they possessed recovered exotic material not made by any U.S. or foreign source, because these executives indicated that they could no longer glean additional insight from such material. They initially agreed to allow ATIP, OSAP, to take custody of the material. Confirmation of this may be inferred from an official DoD Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review document dated September 6, 2023. This document authorized the release of a statement by Dr. James Lakatsky, the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Application Program, OSAP. The statement, marked cleared for open publication, reads in part: the $22 million allocated for DIA OSAP, after speaking to multiple individuals on the program, was originally intended to skiff out Bigelow Airspace Facilities in Las Vegas due to a UAP material divestment plan proposed to OSAP leadership by Lockheed Martin Space Systems Vice President Dr. James Ryder, now deceased. See attachment number 2. This statement addressed the crash retrieval of UAP material recovered during the 1950s and other historical operations. I was also informed that immediately following the terrorist attacks on 9/11, the U.S. government significantly reduced its UAP legacy efforts due to the budgetary constraints associated with the global war on terror. All right, there we go. So here's question number 2. Does any branch of the United States military or defense contractors, aerospace and otherwise, employ exotic materials of non-human or non-terrestrial origin in any application, including aircraft and watercraft? Response: yes. The U.S. government or a defense contractor has in its possession exotic materials of non-human origin. Wow. Okay, so this is Luis Elizondo answering here. Question number 3. Has the United States government or defense contractors made new breakthroughs in physics that are currently undisclosed to the general public, including at the university level? Response: yes. Okay. Question number 4. Are you aware of any evidence or indication that the United States military or defense contractors have recovered craft of non-human origin? A, if yes, were there non-human entities associated with these craft? B, if yes, were the non-human entities recovered alive? Now we're talking. Response: A, yes. I'm aware of several incidents where the U.S. military and certain defense contract companies recovered craft vehicles of non-human origins. In some cases, biological specimens were recovered from such crashes. Alien bodies, y'all. That's what he's talking about. B, I am unaware, however, if any of these specimens were alive at the time of the recovery. Furthermore, I am unaware if these biological specimens were complete specimens or partial due to the nature of the crashes. Several key scientists associated with both OSAP and ATIP were part of a conversation sponsored by the White House in approximately 2004 to determine if the U.S. public was prepared for the acknowledgement of UAP by the U.S. government. After approximately 1 week of deliberations, the decision was made that the U.S. government should not disclose any UAP-related information to the public. All it took was 1 week of deliberations, and they decided, nah, they don't need to know. This is BS, man. All right. These are interesting answers and questions, right? Again, from Luis Elizondo. All right, question number 5. Is it possible UAPs are extra-dimensional rather than extraterrestrial? What I mean by that is it possible that UAPs might not fit in the traditional narrative of aliens from another planet, but could instead be entities from other dimensions? Response: yes. Several scientists within ATIP propose that UAP may have interdimensional or even cryptozoological origins. Oh, leveraging cutting-edge knowledge of quantum physics and human consciousness. Some scientists suggested that non-human intelligence potentially responsible for operating certain UAP might be as integral to our environment as other natural phenomena. However, we currently lack the tools to observe or measure them using conventional scientific methods. Another hypothesis put forth by ATIP scientists suggests that UAP may originate from the depths of our oceans. There's a well-documented correlation between large bodies of water and UAP activity, which could explain why the U.S. Navy has reported more incidents than the other services. Notably, as of June 2024, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reported that only 26.1% of the global seafloor had been mapped with modern high-resolution technology. Wow. Okay, I need a sip of my coffee here, y'all. All right, we're getting halfway through here. What do y'all think of some of these answers? Let me know in the comments. All right, question number 6. Are you aware of the recent claim made by journalist Christopher Sharp regarding Bigelow Aerospace, Lockheed Martin, and the CIA allegedly blocking the transfer of materials of advanced non-human origin? Response: yes. The CIA opposed the transfer of materials of advanced non-human origin from Lockheed Martin to Bigelow Aerospace. There you go, y'all. Question number 7. Can you confirm or deny the attempt to transfer non-human technology to Bigelow Aerospace from Lockheed Martin during your time at ATIP? Yes, he says. I can confirm that specific facilities were identified to enable Bigelow Aerospace to acquire and securely store recovered UAP materials as the new custodian following the transfer from Lockheed Martin. These facilities included locations in the Las Vegas area and a newly built hangar at the Patuxent River Naval Air Station, PAX. I'm sure I got that wrong. I'm sorry. Specifically, the Pax River hangar was designed to facilitate the transfer of future materials via air and river. The hangar was purpose-built to meet the requirements of a Special Access Program facility, a SAP-F, whatever, and was capable of accommodating materials at any classification level. I was informed that funding for the hangar, approximately $10 million, was allocated at the request of then Representative Steny Hoyer. I have visited this facility, however, and it was a new construction at the time. No materials had yet been transferred. That's interesting. So Luis Elizondo has been to the place where they were going to take this crashed UFO, right, from Lockheed Martin. Right? Very interesting. Number 8, question number 8. There's 11, remember. How is it determined that Lockheed Martin had such non-human technology to begin with? If so, how was it confirmed by Lockheed Martin? That's a great question, and probably the biggest one in here. Response: I am unable to answer this question due to a lack of direct knowledge. That's disappointing. Knows everything else, but doesn't know how they even, how Lockheed Martin even got the technology, how they know it's non-human, how is it confirmed, right? Those are the details you really want to know, right? Exactly what steps did we use to confirm that this is non-human, right? How did they determine this is alien? That's the question we need answered before we get all excited, right, about if they have a UFO or not. Question number 9. Were you aware of any efforts by the CIA to block the transfer of UAP-related materials or information during tenure at ATIP? Response: yes. And similar obstructionist efforts were also made by the U.S. Air Force There seemed to be passive resistance from certain elements within the Central Intelligence Agency and a more active campaign by specific factions within the U.S. Air Force to suppress inquiries and investigations into the UAP topic. Question number 10. Do you believe that the CIA or other government agencies are actively working to conceal UAP-related information from the public? Response: yes. Many of my former colleagues and I have faced retaliation for our public advocacy for UAP transparency. This has included efforts to suspend or revoke our security clearances, as well as direct threats to our safety and that of our families. Some elements within the DoD and the intelligence community have engaged in what can only be described as administrative terrorism to deter individuals with security clearances from raising this issue. Other forms of retaliation have included harassment, surveillance, adverse bureaucratic actions, unauthorized data leaks, criminal investigations, and even death threats. Okay. Additionally, efforts to discredit whistleblowers and spread disinformation to the public and Congress by certain Pentagon public affairs officials have persisted for at least 7 years, if not longer. All right, here's the last question for Luis Elizondo. Question number 11. Was any or all of the $22 million said to have gone to ASAP? They meant OSAP, so they spelt that wrong right here. Right, see, you can see it spelled right here. So they just forgot the W. Have gone to ASAP program earmarked for this alleged transfer of non-human technology from Lockheed Martin to Bigelow Aerospace. So let me read that again. Question 11, last question. Was any or all of the $22 million said to have gone to OSAP program earmarked for this alleged transfer of non-human technology from Lockheed Martin to Bigelow Aerospace? Response: the $22 million that funded OSAP ATIP was directed to a variety of programmatic needs, including commissioning academic studies on advanced physics concepts, funding civilian personnel and contractors, and conducting field research. As a result, 37 of these academic studies were published as Defense Intelligence Agency Defense Intelligence Reference Documents. Jesus, DIRDs. That is, they put Defense Intelligence twice. Anyway. See Attachment 3 for a complete list of published DIRDs. DIRDs is a bad name. They got to get rid of that acronym, right? DIRDs. Get the DIRDs. DIRDs. I'm sorry. Okay. So there you go. There is Luis Elizondo's answers, again, to follow-up questions from the November 13th House hearing after he testified. And, again, there is Michael Schellenberger, Mike Gold, and Tim Gallaudet also available. All right, y'all. Hope you enjoyed today's special video. Go check out the other Q&As and see what you think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of some of these answers from Luis Elizondo. Does this break open any new information? Anything you didn't know? The stuff about Lockheed is very interesting. Again, no mention of how Lockheed determined that what they had was non-human. And I think that's the biggest question we need answered, in my opinion. Let me know what you thought was the best question there. All right, y'all. See you guys in the next video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.